Welcome, my name is Victor, also known as UberMC or Kaiseki, or whatever you want to call me, I don't really care. And I'm right now watching Team Dignitas against Phoenix 1, and I will do an analysis in live. So think that of like I'm casting, but only the analytic part. I'm not going to do any play-by-play as I don't care about kills. That's only for Clownfists. So we're seeing Team Dignitas with LeBlanc, Corki, Dravenbun. LeBlanc and Corki, I perfectly understand them. Draven, I mean, maybe if they wanted to first pick something that is really bad against Draven, so like Kalista, but I don't see. Fen is one in Durham, but Zac because it's a must bomb. Caitlyn also almost a must one. It's one of the few ADCs that has at the same time late game presence and lane presence, and the mid game is not that bad uh, to make it out. So yeah, that's really good champion. And then Kalista is a champion that its popularity is rising. Right now in the NA LCS, all Kalistas are almost always winning because of their playmaking potential and the low ability to play macro game with Kalista. You just brute force the team fights. So yeah, we're saying Tress first pick because one of the best supers right now. Tennis won contest with Brown, probably next back super, and Alice, the best jungle right now when it comes to early game pressure, maybe with Rek'Sai, but being AP it's always better as you can draft more AD focused side lanes or even has a second trait of AP, which is good. Team Dignitas is going for the Nunu Tristana, Tristana and ADC that's seeing some play right now because mostly ADCs don't really need to have the engage. As we are seeing, thanks to Doran Shield, engage is going for jungler stops. So we are having ADCs that can have an easy laning phase to farm, mostly because the range supports aren't there to take them down and focus on and force towers and dive. So that's making that ADCs can farm and you can have late game ADCs as Kog'Maw, Tristana or Twitch as Finish one just picked. The fact that you have melee supports allows you to have a more calm laning phase, and the fact that Kalista is done killing her out means that there's not going to be a big presence in the ball lane when it comes to early or mid game fights. The pick Nuno works as a Calista in a way that makes you being able to force objective really in a bad situation when in other team cons it will be considered a 50-50 and a really bad decision. With Nuno that 50-50 becomes 80-20 because you basically have two smites. Also works as a tank, however his ability to gang lanes is quite mediocre. Phoenix 1, as I said, takes Twitch. The bans now are going to be Syndra, Kled, Castellin, and maybe what they ban. Obviously, when the bot lane and the jungler are picked for both sides, which is a common standard, or the common sorry thing to do. Now you start banning top and mid. So they're banning Syndra because it's a really safe pick for Team Dignitas. Maybe they want to counter pick. Cassian kind of the same. Maybe Team Dignitas want to pick Talia or something. And Renekton and Kled just also easy matchup. They're picking the Jace here, which is smart because you can flex it between top and mid. It's probably going to be mid, nor top. I believe that the reason they picked Jace here is because he's really good. He has really good matchups in both top and mid. However, the reason you don't usually pick Jace is because he's really squishy and it makes it really hard to play with him in your team comp if you're putting him top, and if you're putting him mid, it's not like lethality in this moment in patch 7.13 is that good. On 17.14, which is a solo queue patch right now, Jace is broken as almost any lethality user. So we say right here the Talia pick makes sense because with the custody ban. And Phoenix 1 had the option to flex Jace mid and maybe pick a top tank, or even has the Galio open, so you could even put Galio mid with J stop. It's an option. But you decide to go with Casio, which I don't agree. The main reason why I don't agree with this is because right now Phoenix 1 has, yes, probably top lane will be winning, and bot lane should be a farm first, but I will give it to probably Phoenix 1 too, but I can really say one of the other is going to hard win, just a little advantage, a little edge. The mid lane now is going to be just trying to get Cassiopeia to farm. So basically now Phoenix 1 has 3 carries, which 2 of them are late game focused, which is a really bad combination as they will need perfect wave management to not starve one of their carries into a position where he can be useless. If you starve your, as you see, your carries sorry from farm, they won't be able to apply that much damage and pressure. By having a J stop, which is a third carry more oriented to mid game, yes, they're going to have some presence in mid game, but they are also taking someone who's also going to take a lot of farm. So any composition, any strategy that is not a 1-3-1 is going to be really difficult to execute, as you will need um, all 3 carries to farm 3 different lanes at almost the same time, and forcing things around the map it's going to be complicated. If you don't have a really good wave management, you can end up with one of your carries being useless. So this is why I truly think that it will be just better to put the Galio mid or even Galio top, it doesn't really matter, and keep the Jace as the other threat. And yes, maybe you will lack some AP damage, you will still have Alice to do enough AP damage. And Galio is also in the early mid game a threat. By doing that, you will gain a tank and the ability to have 2 strong carries, and you can counter and you can have the strong presence in the lane that you desire. If you want Jace to be top to have the strong top lane where the Galio is mid to ability to roam, you can do that. If you want the Galio top and the Jace mid to push the Talia out, you can do that. You can choose what lane you actually want, even though you put Zeke on, for example, Jace and Ryu on the Galio. That doesn't mean that Ryu has to go mid first, so you in the middle of the game you can even swap things, but they are deciding not to do that. Also, by knowing that Talia was picked, you can just pick the Galio and just go great. So yeah, I don't agree with that decision. So we say Dignitas, with a really better team come with a clear tank, a clear utility, and a champion, an off-tank champion that's going to bring both damage and utility. An AP and it's going to bring some utility and a big damage in when it comes to mid late game, and Tristana who's going to be a great in late game. For Phoenix 1, we have a lot of damage, we have low tankiness, and we have a lot of late game, which is a really bad combination because once if they start losing the early game, as we see they don't have truly wave clear because Twitch and Cassiopeia can probably wave clear. They can try to stop them, but they're not going to wave clear. Alice can wave clear, and Jace just can try a bit. So you only have Bram with his shield. That is a great way of stopping the enemy to take their tower, but it's not going to be enough. So if Phoenix wants to start going down in the early game, they're probably going to lose the game. However, if they start getting ahead in the early game, yes, they can just hard stomp the enemy. But again, they have Cassiopeia, Twitch. Those are not champions designed to properly take the early game. Those are champions designed to just farm your your way to the late game. So this is a weird spot for Phoenix 1, as if they get behind in the early game, they're going to be stomped unless Team Dignitas makes a really terrible mistakes and lets Phoenix one like maybe have a comeback. That will be an option, but we cannot expect the enemy to make mistakes in order to win. That's not how you should draft around. You can't draft around the enemy making mistakes. It's not well. You shouldn't be your goal when it comes to the standard drafting. In some series, if you see that your opponent is worse than you, maybe you can try that. But this is our. I don't think that Phoenix won hard stomp, so the other game to probably say, okay, now we can have the luxury to do this. So they're in a really weird spot where they need to win the early game, but they can't. They don't have the tools to properly do it, so they need to hard outplay their opponent, which I don't think is how you should think do things. So enough talking about the draft because it's having already 4 minutes. Let's talk about the game. For now, both teams are just farming. We're not seeing any big advantage in any lane. Well, it's just the jungle, but it's a common thing. No farms really fast. Now, we should see Phoenix one trying to make some like for the first minutes they should be just stay like this is right now, just to get some first item. Maybe Mike Young trying to make some gangs to help his team. And in the other hand, once they have like almost first item, something like that, they should try to rotate to some lane and maybe gang mid or something. Because you don't want the Talia, who's the one with the global utility, to properly gank any lanes. If you got the lane with the global, you are making sure that you don't have any surprise of someone coming that you did not expect, you did not invite to the party. So, we're seeing just standard lanes as expected. We're seeing maybe a fast back from Phoenix 1 again. Arrow is going to have those early boots because he needs this early power to make plays and start getting ahead. Which with the Kalista is really easy to do. With the Twitch, it's a champion again that focuses on the mid. Well, I mean, I've been saying it wrong. I have said that he's a late game champion. He's a mid late game champion. Once he gets 1-2 items, he has a really big power spike. And when it comes to making picks, it's good. However, I don't feel like it's that good. We're saying here a big play. We have 3 flushes down for 1 flash with us. And here we see why Twitch is not the best champion to do those things, as he lacks damage in the early game. Once he has his plate of ranking, yes, we can start talking about Twitch making movements, but Kalista doesn't need that because his abilities just allow her to do more damage for just the stats. So we aren't seeing sorry anything important. First Drake is Cloud Drake, so it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, nothing big for now. We need to start looking to Phoenix One when they're going to try to rotate. And I really like what Phoenix One is doing right now with a lot of ping wars, because that helps a lot create momentum and tempo advantage in the map. Sorry, as if you have a lot of ping wars, you are going to force the enemy to move around blind, so you can easily pick them. Sorry. So I want to see what they do with those pings. Okay, seems like they are placing some pings in the bot side. That's interesting because that tells us that they may not try to move from bot to top. Okay, TP. Okay, that's a TP cancel from Jace. That's really important. Ryu needs to flash there. The fact that they said that they told Jace to stay means that they value more Jace getting that edge in the lane than the fight itself and the possible dragon. However, this means that Team Dignitas is going to get a really big chunk of the tower, which is not going to finish it, but it's going to make it that in a near future they can easily take it, and that's a problem Phoenix One has been having for the well, I can say for the game one, but game two they had this problem where Victor was just constantly pushing, and Team Dignitas was able to get this middle turret with almost no problems, while Phoenix One needed a Herald to do that. And we see that Zeke had to. What is the go? What are you? What? What the? Why would you do that? Why? Well, Jace made a mistake by trying to go mid to defend. I mean, he had to stay top and take damage to the turret. Use that minion wave to gain advantage, because obviously Phoenix One with that movement wanted to have advantage to the top lane. Now they just I don't know why they did that. They tried to dive with. I mean, you cannot dive without the proper minion wave. What are you doing? Just go. What is this? What the? Why will you do that? So Dignitas again has the advantage in the early game with a better, well, not really. Mm, I mean, technically, Phoenix One has more damage coming into the late game because, well, it's kind of 50-50. You can compare Tristana damage to Cassiopeia and Talia to Twitch. I do think that Phoenix One has more damage coming into late game, mostly because of Jace. However, the problem is that they lack a true tank, so that will make the team fighting really hard. So yes, the better late game when it comes to pure damage and scaling is for Phoenix One. The fact that they don't have a tank means that they need to outplay every single team fight to properly win. They need to go and kill the backline before the enemy gets to kill them. I mean, Tristana is just going to kill all of them really easy, so they need to always catch Tristana to win the team fight. If the tanks are able to stop them from killing Tristana, they're just going to get a rollover. So here we're seeing clearly that late game it's going to be in favor of Dignitas because it's going to depend from a constant outplay from Phoenix One. So, as I said, it's a really weird spot from Phoenix One. I really don't like the composition, how it's round, and the fact that they are losing this early game, or at least not winning it, it's really bad because they don't have a way to defend their towers properly. Their lane assignment right now is just being focused on the 2v2 and try to force things there. They have tried to to force things up, but it's not working. I mean, they got themselves a decent lead in it when it comes to Jace, but it's not properly working, and they just wasted TP. So Finish one is just getting destroyed by not even great macro or great plays. It's just pure mechanical errors from Finish one and decision making, as you cannot try to do that TP into the scenario, and they're probably going to try to trade one tower for two, but maybe they can even get two because Talia should be able to defend against Jace. I don't think Jace can probably dive her. So this is just horrible decision making from Phoenix One. As I said, I do think this comes in a way of their composition. It's really hard to defend with this comp against Dignitas comp, and their lack of wave clear or tank makes it really hard to play the team fights. Obviously, in the early stage of the game, not having a tank, it's a good thing in a way that you have more damage, but they are not actually using that extra damage from Jace, neither for a split push, neither for team fighting, so it just ended up in a really weird spot. So this should be right now a a almost easy win for Dignitas. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Um, okay, I do feel that the composition are making a big job here because Phoenix 1 is not being able to properly respond to anything from Dignitas, which is a shame. Yeah, my god, now about extending. They're fighting in zones where they don't have proper vision control. They're trying to fight things that they can fight. When you're so behind, what you want to do is you want to get your power spike and then start fighting. You don't really care how far ahead is your enemy. You just want to get your power spike because that's the moment where it's like this is the best we can get. All from here, like I'm not going to get any stronger. So we need to fight right here, even though the enemy is only going to get stronger and stronger. This is our power spike, this is our best chance, we need to force him right now. But the Phoenix 1 power spike, it's too late in the game. We're in 15 minutes, and Phoenix 1 is not near his power spike, which is just all really weird because, again, they have a team come with uh, late game alike champions without a relevant way to get to the late game, and it's creating just this weird mess that's the team come right now with lack of proper wave clear, lack of proper tank, a lot of damage, but not a real way to fight through the early and mid game. I mean, they're still being able to get some picks that they shouldn't be able to get, mostly by overextends. So I do feel like I don't think that just Phoenix 1 code just took a random composition without thinking. I do think that the objective with this team come is the Dignitas is not a high caliber team. They tend to work stand a lot. They tend to not being able to properly close the games, not being the right macro decisions. So the concept of this composition is basically we are going to get ahead at some points, and if you get ahead with a composition like this, you are going to snowball. So the idea is we can draft this composition with a lot of damage and late game power, and we need to get ahead at one point in the game to actually being able to destroy the enemy. However, as I'm saying, it's really hard with this composition to properly take this advantage without the enemy fucking up. So, I'm sorry. So, right now, it's Dignitas the one that decides if they want to lose or win the game. If Dignitas play correctly, they win the game. If they make overextends and mistakes, they are going to lose. It's not in Phoenix One hands. Phoenix One can only try to play the best they can and pray for Dignitas to make terrible mistakes that give them a comeback opportunity. Okay, so Phoenix Wall was able to get the Herald, which is good. So they have now. But I mean, it's not going to change anything because not only Mike Young died, but they're not going to be able to properly take a tower with the Herald because they don't have the proper setup. They're not going to have the proper setup because they're so behind. It will take a macro mistake from Dignitas with the lane assignments to wait. Can he escape? I don't know. So it will take a lane assignment mistake from Dignitas to make it that Phoenix 1 can properly use this Herald to win a turret. But the fact that they have the Herald too, that was a big mistake because the Ryu could have died there. Okay. Maybe it was all a bait, it was all planned. Ryu without mana just chasing the Nunu because he can, wasting Ghost. So, um, as I was trying to say, it will take Dignitas a big mistake in a lane assignment to get Phoenix won the opportunity to use the Herald to win. So right now this Tristana is really fat, this Jarvan is really fat, and as we see Jarvan is focusing on team fighting because there's no reason to try to build for a split push when you are against Jace. So we should just see Dignitas maybe trying to force bait Baron soon, get an engage and just roll over Phoenix 1 because they probably have more than enough damage to kill Phoenix 1. They should wait until at least Tristan has his second item, which is probably going to be Rapid Fire Cannon, might could be Static too for more wave clear. Why not? Maybe it's going to be or Runecans is as an option. I will take a static in if I was in the Altec position or Rapid Fire Cannon because it helps it the map right now. You want straight damage and static is one of those items that have a lot of damage just by the base stats, not with the scaling. So just by picking it, you gain a lot of damage. That's why it's a really good item if you want a mid-game power spike. So it's 20 minutes in the game. It's kind of late, maybe to well, it's not too late to. We're still in the mid game. It's the mid part of the mid games or some flow. But they're trying to go for a sneaky baron. If they get sneaky baron, they absolutely destroy the game. But I feel like this is just too much from part of like. I think that Dignitas didn't need to do this. That they had better ways to set up, but at the end of the day it ended up working. So, well, they got a free Baron, and they're just going to win the game. But I do think that was kind of risky, and it depends too much on the Talia wall. You could argue that if the list goes past the Talia wall because the mispositioning of itself, you could just reset and try again in a few minutes without without having a real risk of losing the Baron, which I will say that's true. That makes the play possible. But it's not a play that you can rely on to actually get Barons. So we don't really know if Dignitas will be able to properly set up a Baron take. So we only know that if they are lucky, well, lucky, they are skilled enough to make a good Talia wall by Kin, they can take a sneaky Baron, which is decent, I think, I guess. So now on, okay, here we see Tristana with the static as I said, because they want more power right now, they want just to finish the game. So it should be easy just to win. No, it shouldn't matter much. Zeke is just overextending. He feels like because he has a ping there, suddenly this is his part of the map, but there's also a Jarvan, so Arrow is going to try to fight, but he's so far behind that he doesn't really have even the damage to kill the Tristana, and not in less that's to kill the tanks. So I'm saying, um, I understand why would you draft this composition if you were Phoenix 1. However, I do not agree with the way these winning conditions because it depends too much of your enemy playing really bad, and if your enemy suddenly starts playing good, you are not going to be able to probably win, which is kind of what happened here. I mean, I do feel like Dignitas made some mistakes. However, Phoenix One also made mistakes. Basically, they made both the teams almost the same mistakes, which makes this almost unwinnable when you have the worst team come. But maybe it feels like Dignitas kind of overextend. Now they are just coming back. If Phoenix 1 ends up like winning this team fight, maybe they had a chance, but oh, they're really low. Like really low. That's gonna be an easy cleanup from Jace. Okay, 2 kills. Can he get more? Because if he just can probably clean up this and get it really fat, maybe they could have a chance to win. Um, okay, let's see now. He's just dead. He has flash. Okay, he's going to flash. Okay, I think that should just let him go. You don't really care about killing Jace. Just take another Drake because why not? Now you have pressure in the bot side, which is the best lane that you can actually went for because it gives you more pressure to have again in the Baron part. So we're going to see us here repetition, a replay, sorry, no repetition. That's Spanish, a weird Spanish thing. Okay, they're going just to try to fight, but they're going to fail. I mean, it looked good at the start, but the fact that Tristana was alone all the time made it really hard for them to probably win the team fight. So then, basically, that's why they end up losing. Tristana has a lot of damage, so that flash was better, Mike. Arrow couldn't even do damage. Planet 1, it's really screwed. So let's see what they can do. So basically, we're just going to see right now. Team Dignitas trying to finish the game. Should be really easy. They just need to wait for the mini wave to crash into the base towers, while they slowly but surely take the inner tower of top. Once they take top tower, they can easily secure inhibitor by just repeating the same process over and over again. And Phoenix 1 doesn't have any engaged tool apart from Braum Ultimate, Braum Flash Q, or maybe Arrow doing some weird thing, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Or well, a cocoon from Alice, but if a cocoon from Alice hits you at this stage of the game, at this point, and you don't have accuses, like if you don't have accuses because you feel confident enough to go to the turret without having, uh, if you feel confident that you're going to dodge Alice cocoon, so and if she hits you, you deserve to lose, just because. Yeah. Phoenix wants us right here to force something because they don't want Team Dignitas to get the burn, and they need to do it really fast because the minions are crushing in the top side and in the bot side, so the minions could take inhibitor and towers base. Okay, so they just came. They're going to force a fight, but Dignitas doesn't really need this fight. They only want Phoenix. I mean, this is a really bad thing from Dignitas. What they want is they don't want to force a fight. They want to make Phoenix one lose time by dancing in the barn. If anyone goes to their base, you take the Baron. If Phoenix wants to go to Baron, you just wait minions to crush the base. So not a big deal. Like if Phoenix one tries to go Baron, yes, you fight them, but minions are going to slowly take the base. So okay, now let's hope Team Dignitas doesn't make the same mistake twice, and they properly just go to Baron, set up things, and wait from Phoenix 1 to make a mistake, because that's what you want them to do. So, yeah, Dignitas is now fighting without the minion wave setup. They're from one hand taking Baron, from the other hand just in our side, but they are so far ahead that who cares about micro games? You just click some buttons, you just press, go right click, you kill enemies and you win games and tons of money because yes, who needs to think in this game? Um, what it bothers me is that Team Dignitas had the perfect setup to make a clean game. They had the perfect setup, they had a better composition, it was so easy for them. Once they got the Baron, once they got the inhibitor, just go Baron, just wait. But they decided that they had to brute force their win, which is really sad to say, because it's showing just so low tier teams. I think Dignitas is a low team, but I don't really know. So let me check. Sports. Let me check. Okay, never mind. I think it is a middle of the pack team, but it's still sad that they didn't know how to properly. It's really sad that they don't know how to properly win a game. So thank you for listening to me. See ya.